Okay, today we're going to be learning about the area of parallelograms and triangles. The area of parallelogram is given by base times height, basically. So let me write it here for you. Base, let me try it here. Base times height. Basically, that's the formula for the area of the parallelograms. Now, where it comes from? Well, if you notice here, we have a rectangle. Units, we got the bottom is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the width is 6 units. The length is 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do you find the area? Basically, you multiply 4 times 6, or length times width, right? Length times width will give you the area. In this case, is 4 times 6, which is 24 square units, basically, because you see there's a little square. So these are called the units or square units. So 24 square units is the area of this rectangle. But how do we find when it's a parallelogram? Well, a rectangle is a parallelogram. If you look at this parallelogram right here, basically, if I take a line and connect it from here and form this little triangle, and then move that line over here so that it is parallel with this one, right? Notice that this triangle and these triangles are going to be congruent, right? They're going to be congruent. Basically, now we have the rectangle. That's where we get the length times width. Basically, here is the base, which is the base is this part right here, right? Base is this right here. And the height would have to be perpendicular to the base. Remember that it has to be perpendicular to the base. So that's your height. It could be here, or you could extend this base and measure it from the outside of that parallelogram, right? And that's still perpendicular to the base. So how do you find it? Well, it's the base times the height. Where we get it from is from length times width that you learned when you were in elementary school. Okay? Now let's take a look at some examples, okay? Like if you were to find the area of this rectangle, basically you just multiply the width times the length, right? Which is 3 times 6. And the area would be 3 times 6, which in this case is 18. And the units in this case is meters, so it's square meters. So basically the area of this rectangle is 18 square meters. See how simple this is? Now when we go to the parallelogram, well, the base, you need to know who the base is. In this case, the base is going to be vertical, right? It's this vertical line because the height is the one that is perpendicular to it. Remember that the height is always perpendicular to the base. So if this is the base, then this would be the height right here. So those are the two numbers that I care about, not this one. This one cannot be the height because it's slanted. You see that? And it has to be perpendicular to the base. So in this case, when I'm going to check for the area of that parallelogram, the area is equal the base, which is 11 yards, times 7.9 yards. Now, basically, all I have to do, I'm going to use a calculator here. So 11 times 7.9 equals 86.9 yards. So basically, area is equal to 86.9 square yards, because remember that area is always given in square units, always, no matter what. Take a look at here. This one, it's a parallelogram. They give us the height. They give us a slanted height right here, but we don't care about that one. We only want the one that is perpendicular to it. And then they're asking for what is the base. So basically, what I'm looking for in this case is the length of this base right here. How long is it? So the the information it's given is that this is the area is 12 square meters. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the formula area is equal base times height. So basically I'm going to substitute the 12 for the area. I do not know the base. I know the height. The height is 2. And since I don't know the base and I'm going to multiply, remember multiplication is commutative, so I could put the base first or the height first. In this case, I'm going to put the height first because this one is going to be x, right? That is the unknown. So how to solve the equation? And you have that 12 divided by 2 would be equals to x, or what I'm looking for in this case is 6. So x is 6 meters. 6 meters. So basically, the length of the base is 6 meters. Okay, notice it's not square because we're only looking for the length. So length is in units, area it's in square units. Okay, here's a new word. Now we're going to look at the area of triangles. Here's a new word, altitude. Altitude is basically the same as the height. So when you want to know the height of something, you want to know the altitude, right? Height. Okay, so the height. The altitude is basically the height. So how do we find the area of a triangle? Well, look at the rectangle that we started with, right? We started with a rectangle on the first part when we're looking at the area of parallelograms. So now we're going to draw this diagonal. And what you have in this rectangle are 2 triangles. See them there? Now, this is where we get the formula for the area of a triangle. Notice if we were going to find the area of the rectangle, we would say, well, that would be the base times the height, and we would leave it there. But notice how many triangles do you have here? Well, you have 2 congruent triangles. Therefore, you're cutting the rectangle diagonally. You're cutting it in half. So that's where we get the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Or you could say that it is base times height divided by 2. These 2 formulas, even though they look a little bit different, it's the exact same thing. See, 1/2 is just cutting it in half. So base times height divided by 2 is cutting it in half as well. Okay, let's try these examples. Here we have a triangle that we're given that the base is 6 yards. I identify the base because I find a line here that is perpendicular. If I would extend the base beyond its end here, I extend it beyond that, and notice that if I draw a perpendicular line, this will be the height. So I have the height and I have the base. So remember, we go to the formula. The formula says that the area, let me get my pen, the area is 1/2 the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 4.7. Okay, so basically all I have to do, half of 6 is 3. You could solve it by hand, or you could just put in a calculator. So it'll be 3 times 4.7. So I could go to the calculator there and say, well, half of 6 is 3. 3 times 4.7, or 4 7/10. And it's 14 1/10. So the area is 14 1/10 square yards. And that would be the area of this triangle. See how simple? Take a look at this one. Notice the perpendicular line. It's the height, right? This one right here is my height. It's perpendicular to the base. So my base is 7. My height is 5.4. So again, I use the formula. The area equals 1/2 the base, which is 7, times 5.4, or 5 4/10. Okay, so half of 7 is 3.5, so it would basically be 3.5 times 5.4, or you could just put it like that on the calculator. Let me show you. you put 1/2, or you could put 7 times 5.4 divided by 2. Remember, all those are valid. Okay, so control division for my fraction, that's 1/2, multiplication times 7, multiplication times 5 and 4/10. So half of 7 times 5.4, enter, and that gives me that's 18 and 9/10. So the area is 18 and 9/10 square meters. Just remember that area is always given in square units, whatever it is. See the area here? They gave you the area. Which one would the base be? Of course, it has to be the one that is perpendicular to the height. In this case, is this one right here, right? This one right here. That's your base. And your height is that one right there. Okay, so we're looking for the height. So I am going to just name this X, right? X, because I'm looking for X. So I use the formula. The formula says that area is equal 1/2 base times the height. I have the area right here. See, so I'm gonna put 35 square meters is equal 1/2. Do I have the base? Sure, it's 11.3. So times 11.3, and now I don't have the height. That's what I'm looking for, right? So basically, I'm gonna take this 1/2 times 11.3, and I'm gonna divide on both sides. So 35 divided by 1/2 times 11.3 will give me what? Will give me X, right? 35 divided by 1/2 times 11.3, or you could multiply 35 times 2. You see, you could multiply 35 times 2, which would be 70, and then divide that by 11.3, and that would give you X. So this and this is the same thing. You should learn to manipulate your equations. You learn that in Algebra 1, but if you don't, it's good practice. Okay, so remember, manipulating your equations, you should be proficient at that. Okay, so let's look at the calculator here. I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna put the easiest one, right? It's 70 divided by 11.3. Enter. So that's 6, and I'm gonna round it to the nearest tenth. So 6 and 2/10. So this height right here, the height, it's 6 and 2/10 meters, and that would be approximate. Notice the equal sign is now two squiggly line, means approximate. So X is approximately 6 and 2/10 of a meter. Okay, and then we have this example. We're going to be using the special right triangles and Pythagorean theorem and trigonometric functions, remember? Okay, the first one they give us here, the first example, it's find the area of the following. Notice this is a 60 degrees, that's 90, so that's a 30, 60, 90. We are given the hypotenuse. Remember the short leg right here, that would be half of the hypotenuse, right? This one would be half of the hypotenuse. We already learned our special right triangle, so this would be 5 meters. And then your long leg would be whatever the short leg is times the square root of 3. So now that we have everything that we need, notice that we have the base and we have the height, which is perpendicular to the base. So we use again our formula. So the area is equal 1/2 the base times the height, which is 5. Okay, if you want to leave it in exact, that would be 1/2 of 5 times 5, that's 25. So 1/2 of 25 square root of 3. Well, 1/2 of 25 square root of 3, that would equal 25 times 1 is 25 square root of 3 over 2. 25 square root of 3 over 2, and that's square meters. Now that's exact. If you wanted it approximate, this is approximately, and you could just go to the calculator, and in there you would put 1/2 or 0.5 times 25 square root of 3. Enter. And that gives you approximately 21.7. 21 and 7/10 square meters. Okay, so this is exact right here. Right there, exact. That's the area. Or approximately right there. That's approximate. Okay, take a look at this one. In this one is 13. I know this is 5, this is 15, so I know the base. I could write the base right here would be 20 meters, right? 15 plus 5, so that's 20 meters. I need the height. Well, to find the height, what can I use? Well, let's see. I have this side right here, and I have this side, which is the hypotenuse of this right triangle. So therefore, I am looking for a leg. I'm looking for a leg, the long leg, right? So I can use the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, to find the leg, A is equal to the square root of C squared minus B squared. See, I'm going to call this leg A because it's a leg. So A is equal to the square root of 13 squared minus 5 squared. In this case, I could put it just like that on the calculator, right? It's equal, or I could solve it. That's 169 minus 25. It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for exact measurement or an approximation. If you're looking for an approximation, you go ahead and put it in the calculator right there. So 169 minus 25, I'll go here. 169 minus 25. That's 144. So actually it's a perfect square. Notice that's 144, which is 12. So this leg right here, this is 12. Okay, so that's actually a Pythagorean triple. Okay, this is 12 meter. Now I have my heights being 12 meters. You could have solved that right here. Show you. You would just put the square root of 13 square minus 5 square. Notice it's going to give you the same thing, so I'm showing you that. See, it gives you 12. But I like to work it, so in case it's different, that is a Pythagorean triple. I should have known that. So want to look for the area now. So the area is base times height, because this is a parallelogram. Remember, this is a parallelogram. So base times height, area equals base times height. That would be 20 times 12. Okay, so 2 times 12 is 24, and just add a 0, right? 2 times 12, 24, just add the 0. That is 240 square meters. And that would be your actual area. And last, they give us this triangle. Notice I only have a side and an angle. Notice which one do I need? Well, I need the base because I have the height. I don't need the hypotenuse. I need the base right here. So if I'm looking at this, since I'm looking for the base, let's call this A. I'm looking for A, right? Because it's the adjacent. This is opposite over adjacent, so it's the tangent ratio. So the tangent of 61 degrees is equal to 19 over A. Remember that I'm solving for A, so A is equal 19 divided by the tangent of 61. To look for that in the calculator, always make sure the calculator is on degrees, right? So you're gonna say 19 divided trigonometric ratios tangent of 61, and that gives you that's 10.5 or 10 and 5/10 approximately. So this right here, A, is 10 and 5/10 meters. So now that I have that, I look for the area. So 1/2, the area is 1/2, 10.5 or 10 and 5/10 times 19. So the area would be, go to the calculator, I got 0.5 times 10.5, oops, 10.5 times 19. And notice it's 99.8, so the area is approximately 99 and 8/10 square meters. And that's how you find the area of this triangle. Notice we had to use the trigonometric ratios. Well, let's do this last one. Bring the pain, it says, but it's not so painful. Again, we given the area. The area is 16, and that is base times height. Remember the formula: area is base times height. The base is x plus 2, and the height is x minus 4. All right, so we want to multiply, oops, typo there. We want to multiply. We got that 16 is equal x times x, it's x squared. We got minus 4x plus 2x minus 8, which when we simplify is x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 16. Remember, you must zero these out. You must zero it out. So in this case, is 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8 minus 16, which will give me x squared minus 2x minus 24. Okay. So what we're looking for x, right? So we have 1 times negative 24, that's negative 24. Negative 2 goes in the bottom, so that would be 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. I need it to be negative. This needs to be negative, so the highest number, the biggest number, needs to be negative. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, and 4 times negative 6 is negative 4. It's negative 24. So we have that. Then we have x plus 4, x minus 6. Now we could find out, we remember this equals 0, so you solve for each one. X plus 4 equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0. So either x is negative 4 or x is positive 6. Now, negative 4 minus 4 will give me a negative number. Distance can never be negative, so this eliminated. So that means x must be equal 6, because 6 plus 2, that's 8, and 6 minus 4, that's 2, and 2 times 8, it's 16 square centimeters. And so that's my answer. See, it wasn't so hard. Okay guys, keep practicing, become perfect. Have a great one.